have regarding our report to the public. As you recall, annually we go through an audit shortly after the fiscal year is closed, which was July 1 of 2023. Following the audit, we publish a report to the public reporting on RTA's revenues and expenditures, and the information that you have in the draft materials in your packet are the audited information, still draft. We're near finalizing the document, and soon after, when it's finalized, we would have the final report to you, as well as any adjustments that are needed. But we feel very comfortable with the information that's provided in the draft at this point. Gotta give kudos to our team. Our staff have been working really hard on this, and as usual, we have an audit that is clean, no findings, and the information that's provided in your packet is a detailed report on all the expenses based on each element of the RTA plan, as well as the revenue sources. And as we have discussed previously at various CART meetings, our revenue has been performing really well. That is something to obviously to celebrate. We believe that the revenue is finally reaching a point that even exceeds our previous projections, and that obviously helps with the overall balancing of the 20-year plan revenue projection. On the expenditure side, again, in your packet, you have a detailed report on the expenditures for each element: roadway, safety, environmental and economic vitality, and transit. And again, thanks to the leadership of the CART committee and the officers, we've been providing detailed information at each CART meeting. So you have already had opportunity to review the progress on many of these projects. But obviously, as we report out to the public, we want to make sure that we provide an overview of what's been completed, what's in design, what's in construction, in addition to obviously the revenue and expenditures side of the ledger. I'd be happy to go over details, but I want to pause for a second and see if there are any questions, if there's anything you would like me to expand on, and if there are no questions, then I'll just go over the revenue report on the top of your materials, and then the expenditure. Any questions in the meantime?
No questions from Charlene.
None from Fred either.
Okay, Mr. Chair. So if you don't mind, I'll quickly go over the table that you have in your packet. Again, as I mentioned, the revenues are performing really well. The actual excise tax collection is 119 million plus some change. And once you combine all the other revenues, we are looking at $132 million of revenue collected in fiscal year 22-23. On the expenditure side, for the roadway elements, we have about $21 million that were spent on completing phases, mostly either in final design or construction phases. We had additional categorical spending on some safety improvements, and that was just to complete some existing projects. Under environmental, we had $815,000 of, again, completing existing projects that were committed through various IGAs. And then under transit, which is an ongoing RTA funded operations, we had roughly $21 million for transit funded operations. Once you add all that up with our debt service, which is roughly about $30 million on the previous bonds, the expenditure was $74 million, and the surplus funding is about $58 million. So again, as I mentioned, we are financially in a very strong position on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, we are hoping that we can complete some of the projects that are currently in construction or going into construction in the fiscal year. So you'll see that surplus be spent on those projects in the next 12 to 18 months as well. With that, Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee, you have additional information on total of 1,007 projects that have been completed through the life of the RTA. And again, there's a list of which elements make up that 1,007 projects. And just as a reminder, the current plan only has 35 corridors named on the plan, but all these additional elements make up the difference between the 35 and 1,007. So there are nearly 1,000 projects have been implemented over the life of the RTA from these categorical elements that were not identified initially on the plan, but we are authorized to identify and implement during the life of the RTA. So again, it's our pleasure as staff to report to the public that this is our 17th annual report to the public with the reporting of completion of projects and our revenue and our expenditure. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it back to you and the subcommittee members for any questions, any comments, anything else you would like us to add on into the discussion for today.
Charlene, Fred, you guys have any comments, questions?
I do not.
So just going through the report, everything looked good. The only comment I had was to possibly add the LEL in front of Camino del Cerro.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Chair, again, if there are no other comments or questions, I really want to thank the three of you as the officers of CART. You've been involved for a long time, and we appreciate your commitment, your volunteer time, and your expertise. I also want to thank our staff. They do an excellent job of bringing this material all together and put it in a fashion that we can present to the public to demonstrate that the RTA is meeting its commitment to the public.
Thank you. Definitely thank you, Charlene and Fred, for your help. All the staff.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
Staff.
thank you.
If you do not have any other questions or comments for us, at your pleasure, we can adjourn anytime. But again, we do have the audit itself for supplemental material to review, and once it's finalized, all this information will be posted on our website as well.
Okay.
Fred and Charlene have a copy of the audited financial, the draft financial information.
I believe they do.
Guys have a copy of that?
I'm looking just to make sure I do have it. I'm looking right now. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You guys have a chance to take a look at the draft audit report at all, or not, other than the one pager?
Yes.
Any comments?
Yes,
on
I did as well. Yeah.
Comments or questions on that audit report then?
No comments.
None from myself either.
Okay. Sounds good. There's no other questions. We'll adjourn.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much.